Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks Some More. So I want to talk about this cyber attack that the mainstream media have been telling us has happened. I believe it was over the weekend. There was a report in the USA of a cyber attack that shut down a vital US pipeline. It says here that it was the worst cyber attack to date on critical US infrastructure and should serve as a wake-up call to companies about the vulnerabilities they face. And apparently petrol and diesel started to run out here and there, and now the price of it is going up, it says. The pipeline, operated by Georgia-based Colonial Pipeline, delivers roughly 45% of fuel consumed on the East Coast, according to the company. And this attack is something they are calling a ransomware attack, in which hackers typically lock up computer systems by encrypting data, paralyzing networks, and then demand a large ransom to unscramble it. And this was done by a new hacker group who go by the very sinister name of DarkSide. Here's a clip.
And who is DarkSide? We're investigating the group the FBI says is behind the ransomware attack, how they pulled it off, and are other critical infrastructure like banks and hospitals at risk?
Fox 46 has a team of local journalists covering every angle of this developing story. We are live with new details on what's being done to fix the problem and how long until the gas pipeline is up and running again. Earlier today, the FBI linked the ransomware attack to a criminal gang named DarkSide. The group operates on the dark web. Fox 46's Matt Grant is investigating this group. And Matt, you were actually able to find the group's site on the dark web today. It's something most people don't have access to and can't access. So what did you find?
Well, it's a pretty young group. It's been around for less than a year. The hacker group, known as DarkSide, operates in the internet shadows. As you mentioned, I tracked them down, and what we found is disturbing. I want to show you some of their website. You can take a look. There are dozens of companies that DarkSide claims to have hacked right there on your screen. The group says it possesses thousands of gigabytes of sensitive information, including financial records and employee data, which it will release if they aren't paid a digital ransom. In a statement, the hackers spell out their motives pretty plainly, saying they aren't political or tied to a government. Rather, quote, "Our goal is to make money." President Biden says there's no evidence the Kremlin is involved, but the ransomware attack may have originated in Russia. A former White House official tells me the group has the markings of, quote, "very seasoned professionals." DarkSide says it follows some rules. It won't attack funeral services, for example, along with medical facilities and nursing homes, including those involved with the distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine. Lindsay?
So DarkSide, I've never heard of this organization before until yesterday. And when you look elsewhere about them, they are labeled as a Robin Hood type of hacker group, taking from the rich and then giving some of it to charities. It even says that they have a telephone number and a help desk. Now, if I was setting up a Robin Hood style hacker group, I don't think I would have picked the name DarkSide because it sounds sinister and somewhat evil. But if I was writing a movie script and in that movie there was an evil hacker group and I needed to come up with a name to convey to the audience that the hacker group was definitely the bad guys, I would maybe suggest something like the Dark Side. Now, you remember Event 201. Event 201 was a 3.5-hour pandemic tabletop exercise that simulated a series of dramatic scenario-based facilitated discussions confronting difficult true-to-life dilemmas associated with response to a hypothetical but scientifically plausible pandemic. That was organised and was attended by members of the World Economic Forum and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and it took place in October 2019. And lo and behold, the pandemic started a couple of months later. I mean, it's lucky they got that bit of training in because they could then put it to use just 2 months later when the pandemic started in January in Wuhan. Well, I see in July this year, the World Economic Forum are doing a similar simulation called Cyber Polygon. It says from the website, Cyber Polygon is a unique cybersecurity event that combines the world's largest technical training exercise for corporate teams and an online conference featuring senior officials from international organizations and leading corporations. These include the World Economic Forum, IBM, Interpol, Visa, Ericsson, etc., etc. Let's just hope history doesn't repeat itself and there is some massive cyber attack a couple of months later. So when would that be? That would be in September, October? That's usually when the flu season starts. Mind you, flu seems to have vanished off the face of the earth over the last year. So if history repeats itself, it would be just as the winter starts. Now, that would be an unfortunate coincidence, a huge cyber attack at the start of winter. And old Uncle Klaus, he is also very concerned about cyber pandemics.
We all know, but still pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison.
He is a little ray of sunshine, isn't he? That's an old clip. It's about 4 to 5 months old. So basically, Cyber Polygon is these same organizations prepping for a cyber pandemic. Now, we all remember how Klaus Schwab said that the virus had created a window of opportunity to bring in the Great Reset. And they also seem to like to conflate the virus with a cyber attack as well, as this clip from the World Economic Forum clearly lays out how they are using the virus to draw comparisons with a cyber attack.
The COVID-19 pandemic has shaken our economies and societies to the core and shown us how vulnerable we are to biological threats. In the digital world, similar risks are being overlooked right now. A cyber attack with COVID-like characteristics would spread faster and further than any biological virus. Its reproductive rate would be around 10 times greater than what we've experienced with the coronavirus. To give you an idea, one of the fastest worms in history, the 2003 Slammer sapphire worm, doubled in size approximately every 8.5 seconds, infecting over 75,000 devices in 10 minutes and almost 11 million devices in 24 hours. Fortunately, at least until now, cyber attacks have not impacted our health the way pandemics have, but the economic damages, and therefore the impact they have had on our daily lives, have been equal and sometimes even greater.
So what is this all about? Are we going to see a total blackout in the future? Is that what they are pointing at? Of course, all of these training simulations are being put in place to stop such a thing happening, aren't they? Now, what's a false flag? It says here, a false flag operation is an act committed with the intent of disguising the actual source of responsibility and pinning blame on another party. Now, a lot of people have accused certain major events and crises that have happened in the past as being false flags. And if this were true, and I'm not saying that it is, but if that were the case, they would have been very difficult and complicated to set up in a real world live situation. All the crisis actors, the timing of it, the filming of it, the expense, the logistics, and the possibility of being found out, or of people noticing something is wrong. The thing with a crisis created by a hacker group, which effectively switches off the power grid, say, by example, well, it would all happen in the digital realm. It would all happen in a very hidden way that would be much easier to pull off. All you've got to say is that, oh, we've been cyber attacked, and someone just goes and switches off the power grid and boom, no electricity anywhere. So who knows what's going on? These are the thoughts that go across my mind when I see headlines from the USA about cyber attacks by groups who are supposedly very new, only been around a number of months, and are called the DarkSide. So, stay strong, keep the faith, stock up on candles maybe, and tinned food. Start doing it now. Do a little every week. That's what I'm doing. Tinned goods, put them away in a big container box, and then put them aside somewhere. That stuff will last you for years. No need to go crazy going shopping. Just get a little bit extra each week, cheap tinned food, and slowly over the next weeks and months, you'll have a load of food as a backup in case anything crazy were to happen. It doesn't mean that it will. I'm not saying that, but it can't hurt to be prepared. We are all going through a very, very strange time. And the more I look into things, the stranger it becomes. And so it's good to be prepared. As always, thanks for listening. Come and subscribe to the tribe at hugotalks.com, a place for like-minded souls who think the same way and are looking out for one another. See you later.